Okay, hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm just waiting, giving people a few minutes to come online because I'm not sure how this technology works, but obviously some people, it's pretty quick that I'm posting this. Why did you delete the delete post? I had some issues with it. I couldn't replay it for some reason. So anyway, I'm taking the Bitcoin post that I just recently did with video. It was just something odd went on with my replay. I couldn't watch it. So I'm going, well, if I can't watch it, maybe others can't either. So that's why I deleted it. All right, let's start. I can narrow that music down a bit. Welcome aboard. This is going to be purely on Bitcoin, and maybe I'll touch on Ethereum as well. If you watch my previous videos or posts, you know I've been looking at this this structure, and if I get rid of this for a sec, if we look at this structure from a Fibonacci perspective, top being swing high, swing low type of thing, from there to the bottom, we can see that we pretty much approached the 0.618 Fibonacci level. And it has a lot of confluence in terms of, if you look at the 0.382, we had a nice resistance there, pullback. So a lot of this is making sense. And then if we look at it closer, from a weekly perspective and a daily perspective, we will also see a lot of confluence with resistance and support. So if we were to just go to the weekly chart, and where we see price on the weekly finding resistance there, let me just put the magnet on and I'll just fix it up. So just previous history, I'll make the line thinner. So that's a weekly chart, weekly line, and it has a weekly line there as well. So this range, just by doing that, we'll say that this range is resistance. So let's just put that in a white color or yellow color, so it makes it clear. Now we'll go back to the daily. Where did that color go? That didn't help. Hold on, let me just fix that up. Obviously there's something there. I don't know why I did that. All right, so now we go to the daily, and you can see that we've got resistance there. And if I was to add on some indicators, I'll say MACD and RSI. I'm sure there is bearish divergence in the making there as well. So here we go. So price has been going up, and we've been finding that level of support. This line is very important as I see it. And while that price is going up, we are seeing bearish divergence coming down. So although we have this formation, I was hoping that this was going to break out. So it's likely, in my mind, that we're going to touch this first, okay? And that might be that trend line there. And if we don't get a break up to the top, we're going to go down. So this is the first touch, second touch. Second touch usually means the decision maker when it comes to a bearish move. So the second touch, if it fails, then it's likely to go down. I don't think it will reach there. I don't think it will reach back up there, because that means it'll go higher. But anyway, that's one way of looking at the RSI. And let's just get rid of those lines. And the MACD, you can see, is also going sideways. And you've got this bearish divergence on the histogram. So everything is basically, we've got the formation, which complements, realistically, this RSI complements this, or more so, potentially that. All right, so that is a wedge, ascending wedge. Yeah, so yes, we might. I'm just responding to Brian. Brian saying we might hit the 50,900, and yes, it's likely. Now I'm going to give you other information that this week is pretty much going to be, even if we touch it, it's still going to come down. So if you wait for, depending on your entry, you want to take that chance, it's up to you. But now let's look at this daily candle, right? When you have a daily candle that engulfs the other two candles, you usually have a bearish move. So from the candlestick perspective, that is a bearish move, but we got another 8 hours for that to close. Now, if we look on the 8-hour candlestick, that is, again, we have 21 minutes for the 8-hour candlestick. So yeah, it doesn't mean it's going to just drop down. So I've got this yellow line as support. And my thinking is, if I just maximize this, that we're going to have a head and shoulders in the making. So we've got the left shoulder, we've got the head, and we might get a bounce. And I think that'll be a resistance spot there, probably 49,200, 300. And we'll come to that line there. And then that's going to be the decider. Is it like, if you look at this formation, bearish divergence and so on, but even from a structural perspective, it's bearish. Now, if you look at this, here's another thing. We have one bounce, two bounce, three bounce. Even the cycle pretty much says it. So we're going to be very lucky for it to go like this. Very lucky. I don't think that's going to happen. I think I was hoping that this was the case here. But I thought it might just do this and come down. I was ready for that, and I don't think that's going to play out. So that's one of my thoughts. Now let's go back to the bigger picture. Now, if you look at that wedge and that formation, you can see that we also had one bounce, two bounce, three bounce, and then typical wedge formation, a breakdown, bounces, tries to get back up to this level, and we drop. So if we were to imagine that the same case, here's the level. So if we drop, if we get the head on the right shoulder, it drops, that's a good position to short and then down. And very much like this area, to me, is this whole area, obviously, is an area of interest to go for based on this wedge. If you look at this one here, it didn't quite make it there. This is a top reversal. This is not a top reversal. This is a continuation. And I'll talk about what I expect there. But this is a guideline for what could take place here. This is basically a wedge formation, and a very typical way for it to break out. This was a bit confusing, this area, because I didn't expect 2 bounces, but so that threw people off, I think. And the second time round, I thought it might go up higher, maybe to this level. But anyway, so we've got to keep an eye on this. But here's the thing: on-chain data gives us another perspective. Well, I'll get to that. Let me just put this back into the micro picture. Let's go in close. And so this is what I had for a while, just keeping track of it. And let's go to the smaller time frame. Okay, so what we had recently, I had this this level here as well, but I had another one and it seems to have disappeared. I'll put it in there. There was this line here as well. So you can put granular, very granular lines, and this was my top layer, and we pretty much, so we were testing it to go higher, and we failed. And what we had recently, we had a head and shoulders here, and that was a target there. And as soon as we did it, we bounced up. Now this is a bigger picture. So now this becomes the left shoulder, this becomes the head, and it's likely that we could potentially go like that. So if we're lucky, so this is looking weak. The bulls have to. So I got this as an important line because along the line we have a lot of confluence. So this becomes a critical line. If we drop this, then it's likely to this scenario of confluence. So it's it's coming very close to this trend line, and that to me this is a critical line. If it drops below that, it's definitely going down. So I'm thinking that we might get a bounce and then down. So I'm looking along the lines of that. The structure is pretty clear on the smaller picture. Like if you look at that, that's pretty clear, isn't it? Now here's the other thing that I was going to talk about. So this is a typical wedge structure, and when we see this type of structure, where you have certain midway points where it's a bullish move and it's a good entry, you got to keep an eye on these little things on the smaller time frame, which is part of a bigger structure. So now we're going to see what's going to happen here. I've taken some profit there, just because I got a report from Willy Woo, and he's giving me some insight to what's taking place with the on-chain data. So he's also bearish in the short term, based on the on-chain data, and I'll get to that. So I think that's pretty much covered. Where is this likely to fall? I have between, so if we look at this big picture, look at this, you can see, why I've got this magnet on, I've got no idea. So this green line is pretty much telling you one level, okay, which is about 42,000. Could be lucky there. We also have this line here. Excuse me, guys. I'm still recovering from my cold, sore throat. I can put that there. So this was our structure, reversal structure when we broke out. Give me a sec. So I still think this reversal structure is important, and then we might actually find support on this structure as well. Okay, and I'm not going to, I can, we'll do that a bit later. We'll look at the moving averages where they're going to be. But my area of interest is pretty much here. Between this Fibonacci and this area, that's my area of interest. So that I would say between, I will even go down to 40,000. It's potentially that zone there. It can drop just a bit more without panic selling. If this drops hard, then the wick could come down here. But I'm looking to buy in this area here between 40,000 to 44,000. I don't see going down lower than that. and realistically, that would be my. So if this is the main yellow area, which is the main resistance, if we have a, oh come on. All right, let me do that again. So if we were to come down here, that would be my point A. Point B could be another good bounce. And I think we'll just chew away at this level. And if we come back a bit, we'll have this formation that eventually breaks, hits away at this level and breaks up. The alternative is a 1, 2, 3 move on the macro scale. If we can do it this way as well. So we have our A, we have our B, and then we have our C. And this will probably be a 1.618 extension. So we'll get to that later, but that's basically what I see. So we had a correction. We had our correction here, A, B, and C. And that was pretty much a fib extension of 1.618. So if we did that, swing high, swing low, swing back, swing high, is a golden ratio 1.618. So that was pretty conclusive. The on-chain data said this is an exhaustion of selling. So that's why we got this move. And we're going to be in this mid-tier. So what we're seeing now is it's a big, massive reaccumulation structure, really, when you think about it. All right, so if that's the midsection, that's the bottom. And we're looking at a wick-off, a big wick-off structure. And eventually, we're going to have a shakeout here, and then we're going to go up. What time frame it is, I don't know, but this could, I don't think it will come that low. I think this is as low as it could go, about 40,000. And we might spend a bit of a sideways motion in this area before we break up to this top of quadrant, and then we'll build up momentum to break out. And that fits into many of the wick-off structures and reaccumulation. So it's a massive one. It's a big one. And anyway, we'll talk about that later when the time comes. Now, let's look at the on-chain data. Let me have a look at comments. Do you have any timelines? Oh, we can do that. May I know your trade? May I know your trade details? Yes, it's on my signature. I'm not sure what you mean by trade details, but contact me direct and I'll explain to you. I'm not sure what trade details means. Okay, so this is what we got. Now, here's the thing that you probably haven't seen, and I'm going to drag it out. Where is it? Where is it? Here we go. So this is the supply shock, and basically what it says is what we're having is prices going up, and the supply shock is dropping, which is basically a bearish divergence in another way. Okay, so basically it's the supply side of the market is going up, and the I suppose the demand versus supply for the investors is dropping. And what we've also seen is, I've seen a tweet where a reputable person that did it, he measured from the on-chain data that 26,000 plus Bitcoins have been moving up to the exchanges lately. And that indicates that there's a bit of selling pressure to come as well. What we have here is another chart, and long-term investors buy sell heat map. And based on this chart by Willie Woo, the heat map's basically showing there's the very selling pressure at this point here as well. So that's another scenario where that can give us information outside the traditional data. And this has been good so far. Now, let's get rid of that and go back to my chart. Where are we? Okay. Now, I'm not sure if it's here. Let's have a look. Okay. So this is a short time period. Go back to the daily. You can see on the daily, the RSI is looking like a bearish divergence, right? And what I have also, let me just chuck it in there. Actually, it should be here. That's not the one. If it does come up, okay. So this is another channel of what is it called? Log curve, and this also shows you that we've hit a main line. Okay, so this green line here also shows that we pretty much hit a resistance level. I'll try to get rid of that. Where is it? Where is that? Get rid of that. No. You can see ever so close. We might even, yep, we didn't quite hit it. It's close enough, I suppose. Right here, we didn't hit it either. So it's not the best curve. Now let's look at our moving averages. Moving average is still there. So we might find a bit of a bounce on the 20 moving average on here. Currently, we still got support on the 10. And if you look at it historically, if you're going to trade this on the daily, we might get some bit of support on the 10, and if that fails, so realistically, that the next 8 hours is really going to tell us what's happening here. But I would look at the 20 as an opportunity for a bounce, and then go to the weekly, and this doesn't help. Okay, the weekly 20 moving average is also around the 42K range, 10 and 20. So it does show you that it's roughly going to be a strong support. So as this comes down, if this comes down, you can see where, let me just get rid of that magnet again. Okay. Is this magnet playing up? Okay. Why is that doing that? Okay. We have the 10 and 20 moving average. The good thing about this is we are bullish because we've got the MACD crossing over on the weekly. So this was a nice bullish move as well. So the fact that we crossed over there is a bullish market. It's just that midterm, we're going to have a bit of a pullback. That's all. It's not a bearish move. It's just a midterm bearish move. And so we've got a lot of evidence why the market is bullish. It's just that we're just going to see something short term coming to an area. So this was the support. Hold on. This was a support area, this red line. So remember I said, far out, come on, I'm clicking on it. So short term, if we go there, that red line, as you can see, on the weekly also has confluence with the 10 and 20 moving average, as well as the fib level. So this area is going to be very strong support. This area here, very, very strong support. And so again, that's around 42K. And would it drop below it or not? Don't know. But that will be my entry as this comes. Now look at this. That's a inverted hammer. in the making on the weekly. So that is, if it closes that way, that's definitely going to be a bearish move, and that makes sense. So even if this goes up, it needs to really go back above, and it's still going to be a hammer. So and you can see how that's working out. There's not much of a wick on the top of that, so it's going to take it's not going to be a big dump straight away. And as I said, it's likely to play a head and shoulders at this point. Okay. Now, in terms of time frame, what's the time frame question? What do you reckon BTC drop will mean for altcoins? Oh, we're going to look at the alt chart. That's pretty much, it's going to be an easy one. For most coins, it's going to be a dump. They're going to lose more, and I'll get into that. So what we'll do is look at the total market cap. We'll look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, and let me look at what other people are looking at. Do you have timelines? We can have a guess on the timelines. People are holding on to it, no supply. What do you think the impact will be when institutions, whales come back for vacation, summer snooze over? Don't worry about that. We're in, so there is actually a market correlation that we can look at as well, the SP 500. There is a bit of danger there as well. It's not going to be easy sailing, and the correction comes over every September. There you go. So, well, this looks like we Lensef. Yep, I agree with you. So it's not coincidental either in that sense, I suppose. The timing, I suppose, is makes sense. Now, I had a chart. Let's look at the weekly. Let's see time frames. Okay, I don't know if I don't know if you guys looked at my last video, and in terms of how I look at this market, at the big picture. So let's see where we are. I need to get rid of some of this. I don't know why I get these yellow lines. Like some of them I can't close for some reason. That's real odd. So where's that coming from? Just bear with me, guys. So see, look at this. I can't even undo it. It's crazy. Okay. Historically, that's what I've seen in the past. Okay, let's zoom in there. I had a bunch of things there, didn't I? Oh, that's going to be messy. We won't do that. Okay, so what I was trying to do is find the timeline. Let me see the timeline. Time base. Okay, there we go. That's the one. Now I'll need to get rid of the moving average. Just makes it a bit more complicated. Now the timeline. So this is a Fibonacci timelines. So here, November. So what we have, if you can see this, I don't know if you guys can see it clearly. This is what my timelines is. So we have, this will be good if I can get the colors as well. So this is my reference 0 to the 0.618 there. And then you can see the golden ratio was ever so high there. And then another fib level was at the 2 at the bottom. So now this line and this line have confluence for something. So they're either going to be continue on and a drop and another high and a drop. I'm not saying that's the price. I'm just saying that these are pivot points. So come November, based on this, there's a big pivot point which could be a drop. and ultimately maybe March next year, the next top. So if this was to go parabolic, if we think like that, maybe that's the case where we have drops, another parabolic move, and then probably the bear market. So it's a theory at the moment using these fib timelines. So far, I've set it up such a way that it makes sense, and the way people say you should use it. So that's what I'm looking at. Ugly disconnected. Okay. If people are having issues, look at. I'll actually put the YouTube channel there as well. Okay. Now let's look at Bitcoin dominance. There you go. So you can see we've got a strong response at this level. So we got this. So my theory is this could be a nasty move. So if this is my A, B, C, D, E, it can be. Let me just bring that out. Right. So if this is a descending channel, yep, that's definitely a B. Now the question is where. So if we get a rejection there, I was hoping it would come down here, but it might not. The way this candle just kicked off, it's very likely that so this is a Bitcoin dominance. And this could potentially do a breakout to this level here. And then hopefully it's a fake out and then back down to here. So for the alts. But in the meantime, the alts are going to copper hammering. Now, if this is my 4-hour chart, let's look at my 8-hour chart. And I can see with this indicator, see how this is, it's bottomed up and it's gone past the 50%, the RSI, and this is going to start turning around as well. So the momentum is to the upside. And anyway, we'll see. It's not there yet, but it's building up. So this could maybe go sideways for a while before it breaks up or breaks down. I'm looking at breaking up at this point. But this is an 8-hour chart, so let's see how that goes. So I do think the alts will copper hammering. Now here's the thing that I was making a point on my channel, which you can see on my signature. Most of the alts have hit key targets. So if we look at, and I say ADA, okay? And if you look at ADA, for instance, let's look at this ADA chart on a big way. It's just an example, right? And I've posted this on, so let's look on the daily. So I got this main trend line, and pretty much ADA's hit it. And that's why we found a big resistance. So I sold my ADA at that line. So I think I did all right. Why is this not expanding quickly? Here we go. All right, there you go. So that's a big bearish candle at a key trend line. Now that's, for whatever reason, if we can measure it as well, from swing low to swing high, you can see it's the 1.272 target. So I do see ADA going up. That's my area. I have ADA going up either here, around this area, to parabolic, if it goes parabolic. But at the moment, you can see how ADA's hit, if I do dark, it's hit a key level. And also that trend line as well as a fib level. So ADA's pretty much hit a local target. So if ADA's an example where a lot of alts have hit the target, then it makes sense that Bitcoin is going to, or Bitcoin dominance is going to go up, while the alts are going to slow down. Even VET has this level where it's, so we're looking at it from an inverted bar perspective, this trend line, and VET is stuck. So I see VET in confluence, it might break up and then retest this trend line, or it just accumulates and then goes up. And if it does that, it's in confluence with what I said with Bitcoin dropping, and that will drop more. Maybe it might drop a bit further down, but it's still going to build up for this trend line to be broken. So another coin is in sequence with my thinking. Okay, so we can, and I suppose Cake. If you look at Cake's been a nice trend, and I've pretty much sold at that level. It's sort of quite just missed my target, so that's probably it there. I might keep going, I'm not sure, but you can see that is also, from the RSI perspective, starting to break down. So if we look at that on a daily, you can see how the RSI is really extended and it's pulling back. So this, you can look for a nice cradle setup there. And I thought maybe that was just a line in the grass. That could be it there. I thought the 0.5 was going to be the one. You might have a bit more to go before Bitcoin drops, so that's possible. So again, another coin that's close to resistance. And okay, so Luna, what's Luna doing? So Luna's really, it didn't even hold. It dumped significantly. So another coin that's basically doing a shakeout, reaccumulation structure. So what I'm saying is that all the alts have hit a key level. So yep, I'll have a look at Carver because I got Carver as well. I actually posted Carver on my thing, macro wise. Binance, okay. So Carver's, that's against, come on. You'll be nice today. It's not doing it. Come on. Oh, there you go. Getting some sluggish response. Okay, so there you go. So that's my Carver structure. Yeah, it might pull back a bit. So this could be a reaccumulation. So I do see Carver going up higher. There is a few thoughts on this, but I'm just keeping a mind on this. This necessarily, that doesn't have to be the one, but this is, I would say that would act like resistance, even if it was to get to that level. But if we look at Carver from that perspective, yeah. So if that's my one, yeah, 1 point, yeah. So again, that fits the model. This area is going to act like resistance for sure. So this trend is going. Maybe might find some support there. I wouldn't get rid of my Carver anytime soon. I think it'll hang around with a 10 and 20 moving average. And if we were to do a nice, yeah, it could come down to, let's do the reverse of that. Looking for a cradle setup. Yeah, perfect right there. That's a nice perfect area for a cradle setup. So retest that level. It's a bit of a shakeout and then off it goes. So Carver is a nice chart. So stick with that. All right, so I've covered Bitcoin dominance. Let's look at total market cap. What is that doing? I think it's going to, no, I shouldn't have done that. So I've got to, I'll get rid of that. Actually, just save that. We didn't look at Ethereum. Here's Ethereum. So Ethereum just took a good beating there. I was hoping it was going to hold that level. So this fib level is where I'm hoping Ethereum will hold. But it's showing some weakness. And if we were to look at that, well, that doesn't have it. Let's look at MACD. So the daily. So all of these charts, I believe I put on my post where local, what the targets are at the point. And you can see a nice crossover, bearish divergence, while Ethereum's holding its price. So maybe that was a correction there that need to have. But see, you see this is pushing down. So bearish divergence is playing, and the price is not really dropping. So I think Ethereum could also drop from this level as well, which is okay. Yeah, so the next couple of days, I think it's going to be bearish. Looking at that, I was just hoping it actually broke that level, and let's just hope it holds. It might just hold, for all you know. Ethereum is more. I'm more bullish with Ethereum than Bitcoin, that's for sure. So it was a 3179. So let's look at the short term, smaller term time frame. So that was a bit of a dump. How much did that lose? I was hoping that was like, that's a 5% dump. So that's a bit of weakness there. And if I look on the 1 hour, yeah, so that's close. That's playing it close. It's dropping much harder than Bitcoin at the moment. And that's, I suppose, a clear triangle formation. So if we lose this dotted line and maybe this gray area, that's going to drop hard. And good time to short, really. Looking at that, let me look at the 5 minutes. I'm shorting this, and it's still dropping. So, let me check my. Loving that. Making money on that one. Sometimes you just go with the flow. Yep. Oh, beautiful. If that drops now, you know what? Now I want everything to drop. Selfish, huh? All right. So, yeah, Ethereum doesn't look good, and that's a 5 minute chart. So let's get back up. So yeah, guys, it does look bearish, doesn't it? If Ethereum is a sign for it, back to Bitcoin. What's Bitcoin doing? If Ethereum's continuing to drop, I think Bitcoin might be doing the same. Let's see, 5 minute. Yeah, so that, oh, okay. Yeah, that's not looking good, guys. Is it? So that's not looking good. So 48,200. So yeah, so we're at that resistance support line, right? So we're gonna. So that doesn't look good. The reason being is that is definitely going to be. So that is a left shoulder. That's the head, and we're lucky if we get something like that, maybe up to there. So definitely looks bearish to me. That's okay. And even from a different perspective, if this was a formation that you're familiar with, expanding wedge, and that's, so if we were to even do the count there, there you go, you've got the counts as well. Let me just do it white. There you go. So that could be a point E, and that's going to be a breakdown. So point, or you can move this across, and E could be midsection there. So it still works out the way, in a small time frame. And if we were to work that out, we'll use that head. The height, look, it still works out like head and shoulders, look. So for the short term, if it breaks down from whatever this level is, that goes down to 46,000, and then we'll take it again. Yes, definitely looking bearish. And if that was a line there, the price, It's really, really close, isn't it? So that's very close to that support line, actually below. And that's where we're going to find out if that's a target. It's going to find that, break through it, and then down. All right. What else did I say I was going to cover? AVE. So that's AVE dropping. AVE. I had this channel for AVE, and it's found a strong resistance. Again, another failure. So that was the main resistance I had. Actually broke that, and then just breaking down. So good trades are coming. AVAX is the only one that's probably going good against Bitcoin. Is dropping as well. So even this has an ascending wedge formation. So look at that. So the alts have done. So that's another good setup for a short. And so that's a target there. And worst case scenario there. And then back up. Yeah, so there's a good opportunity to make money there as well. I'll be looking at that. That's 10%, 13% drop to short. Now we've got to see that. Yeah, problem is it's going to be hard to find the entry point there. So there's a lot of opportunities. If you haven't sold, you better start contemplating. Have some cash to buy cheaper. So I've sold, I think, about 30%. Some people's strategy is different. Some people just look. If you hold on to it, it's fine. But it's good to have some cash, especially when you know it's going to break down. And anyway, now let's look at something else. Let's see if I could get more data. Here's another data, another chart. So that's a bearish inflow, spot exchange net flow. So this is telling you the flow of Bitcoin into the exchanges. Before it was dropping, now it's starting to flow into it. So it's recent. This is all recent. It was going down. Now it's so if that was a price there, so Bitcoin dropped, and then price and the Bitcoin started to increase to the exchanges. Actually, there's another chart that I'd like to show you. Let's look at that. Where was it? Total market cap, didn't we? We forgot about that. Come on, move. Daily. Okay. It's very similar to Bitcoin, isn't it? But you can see, look, I had this line, no kidding, I had this line set up a while ago just to say that was a resistance. And that's pretty much played out, really. I didn't touch this for a while and perfectly found resistance there. So there you go, bearish divergence there as well. And I just use these lines from a historical point. I just put those lines there, and you can see it's not passing that first line. And that's correlating to that line there. Is this high there? And that obviously that was a bearish divergence from there to there. You can see price going up, bearish divergence, and these levels are significant. So I would say that this will come back up. 50% is the very important level for RSI on the daily. So we don't want to see it go below 50%. It might approach it. Let's see where we had that in the past. Yeah, so around here we had just below, actually dipped below 50%, and then went up, dipped below 50%. And okay, so we do have below. So maybe it's a weekly, 2 days. Let's see the 2 days. Yeah, it could be the 2 days. All right. So bearish candle, 2 candles there now. On the 2 day, we've got a indecision, and then the bearish candle on the 2 day chart. We've got 7 hours for that 2 day chart, So on the daily, realistically, that's an engulfing one. So it's engulfing two. So even the candle, from a candlestick perspective, that's bearish at a key level. So I had this level there for a while. So I had it for a reason. I can't remember why I did. It must be the Fibonacci level. So even the total market cap is agreeing with us that there is a bearish move coming. Okay, so that's another convincing argument. And let's close that. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, that's going. So if we look at Bitcoin dominance, it's going. It's keep rising. It's knocking on the door, isn't it? That's a key level. Wicked up, and look at those green candles. That's strong moves. And that's all right. Data account chart. Let's look at. Yeah, so they're all dropping. Yeah, the alts aren't looking good. Some are. So CDK's all right. It's not really dropping that much. Oh, I bought hot. Oh, bugger. Yep, I'm probably stopped out on that one. Let me have a look. Matic is dropping. Not sure short of that one. Yep, Cake's dropping. Neo's dropping. No, Neo's all right. And Bitcoin. So Bitcoin. Oh shit, it's dropped, guys. So if you look at that, there you go. It's even dropped more than that. It's looking weak. So yep, maybe a bit of panic selling, but that's definitely dropping. And this tells you which ones are moving quick. So Matic negative, XMR, Cake. Ray's just dropped a lot. Yeah, they're all dropping now. AVAX is going good against Bitcoin. It's still holding. Yeah, so it's not looking good, guys. Leave that. I've got one more chart. Where is it? Let's see. Load. Okay, I had it today. BTC. Surely, where's that name? Give me a sec, guys. Is that the one? No, it's not the one. Okay. So the 80-hour showing volatility dropping. So this is a volatility indicator, and what it basically shows is volatility is really low, which means it's going to go up. That up means potentially, in my case, in my thinking, that's volatility for Bitcoin is a drop. So, and then back down again. So if you look at previous spikes, it's all these drops are the spikes up, and in some cases, in the bull run, it's up. So when they do a nice any outbreak, so once it comes down to a slow volatility, there's going to be a big move coming, and this one is really low, and now we're looking for a big move to come, and the fact that this is going to move up tells you that Bitcoin's going to drop maybe quicker than we expected. So that's another perspective I have. But I was looking for a chart that I did work on it today, and all right, let me see if it's this. Doesn't make sense. Where'd it go? Didn't save it. Okay, no. All right. Here's the last chart, another perspective. I'll go to the daily. Let me get this, let's see. So this is the Maya multiple. Put a bit of effort into it. Here we go. And I'll put my lines. One is basically, so what this chart looks at is that measures the 200 moving average on the daily, and this blue line is deviation from the 200 moving average. And historically, if you looked at this, you can see that whenever we broke this top level, this orange one, or cross over this mid one, the mid line, horizontal, whenever we did that, we had a bull run. And you can see this is pretty much broken above, so we're bullish. And in some cases where, like you look at all where these vertical yellow lines are, they're either drops or they're bullish. So in this case, you can see here when it broke that level, or when this blue line crossed the yellow, it was a bullish market. So we've still got a lot to go for this one. So as we go sideways, this is going to come down, and then we might be able to see that crossover, and that will be from this Maya indicator, a bullish market confirmation. At the moment, we have one tick in the box. We just want to see this come down, and the fact that we're going to go down, the 200 moving average will also drop down, and then we'll have something like this scenario here. So what we're seeing is this coming down, this coming up, and eventually meet somewhere there. So this is coming down, and we might just meet and cross over, and then that's a confirmation, another bullish market for Bitcoin. There is actually what I'm doing. If you're interested, let me just bring it up. Let me just log on. Give me a sec, guys. This is my website. I've got a Bitcoin section. Just focus on Bitcoin. These are the charts. Well-known indicators. So we've got the Pure multiple, the Maya multiple, the stock flow model, logarithmic curves, pi cycle. All these will help us find the top and bottom. Right now, if you look at this chart, you can see how the Glassnode Maya multiple gives us confirmation that we're breaking up the top side, and in the long run, this will help us find the top and selling. And I think we've got examples of what I've done on Bitcoin. Yeah, so that's my one, and cross-referencing. So this kind of information I've got reference points. You should be interested in looking at those things up. These signals on Glassnode, and at the same time we have them on TradingView. So make the most of it. So here's one example. Right? We got something like this. So let me see here. And how we're tracking. No, that's back to the Maya, sorry. Wrong one. That's a pi. Wrong indicator. Here it is. There we go. So this indicators are available as well. And you can see over there how this yellow line might be our exact support as it comes down. Anyway, these are the references that you can use with TradingView as well as Glassnode. Let me see if anyone's got any comments, and I'll probably wrap it up there. So let's see. Let me look at YouTube, see if there's any comments there. Okay, here we go. FB, if 1, 2, 3 ABC, then 2 should come down deep. So hold on. What are we talking about here? Where's my chart? Okay. No, I don't want that. That was a mistake, I think. All right, let's back to the daily. Okay, so what are you saying here? Thanks for that stream map. All right. All right, guys. If you've got any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm pretty much. I think I've covered enough. I don't need to go over it again. I've gone over a few alts, gone through the Bitcoin dominance. It's telling us. It's basically telling us that you should flip a lot of your coins into Bitcoin at the moment. Bit of rejection here, so we're going to have some sideways movement. So we're going to range in this area. Right here, I suppose it's a good point to go back to the alts, and if it comes down there, convert back to Bitcoin until we get a breakout of some sort. So I have this trend line, but can we trust it? Yeah. So that's, if I do it perfect with the wicks, that's where it is at the moment. Perfect there, and the rejection there. So, but I do see momentum to the upside with Bitcoin dominance. So it's up to you guys how you do your strategy, but I will play it safe and I will flip some Bitcoin, flip some alts to Bitcoin, because you don't want to lose a gain that you've done, or cash. I've done both. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. It's getting late. It's late for me, and thank you for joining me. If you've got any comments, please direct them at me. I think someone wanted to know details about my training. Contact me directly, and I'll get back to you. Otherwise, good night, guys, and thanks for your time.